The Metis Tech Show.
Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
Mitsubishi.
So, Brent,
Yes, sir.
you're from Michigan.
Yes, sir.
You know, are you on the UP or
Mid-Michigan, Saginaw,
Mid-Michigan,
Saginaw Bay
Saginaw.
area, a couple hours north of Detroit.
so that's big hunting country?
Yes, sir.
And you a hunter?
Yes, sir.
And what do you hunt for?
Well, anything that's legal, and outside of that, we don't talk about it. So, grew up
strike
like
that.
any other Michigander on small game, rabbit, squirrel, venison, deer.
I love venison.
Duck hunting lately has been my biggest passion.
Oh, no, duck. I've never had duck. How does it taste compared to chicken?
It's completely different. Yeah, they say everything tastes like chicken, and not everything tastes like duck. And it depends on how you prepare it too. And if it's like a puddle duck versus, say, a diver duck, it depends on what their vegetation, what they eat is. So like puddle ducks, a mallard, the best. The teal, the small flyers, ones that are really hard to hit, super. That's like the good stuff. But it's then prepping it is almost like you get a couple seconds too long, you ruin it. So it's very temperamental, like flash, freeze. You can do so many different ways to prepare it. So it's
So a couple of questions about duck hunting.
sure.
Is it true that you can only shoot a duck when it's in flight?
It's sportsmanlike. to
It's
shoot a duck
sportsmanlike.
when it's in flight.
And do you need a dog?
No, that's what they make kids for.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
That's-
Nate.
Yeah, you just go
That's my son.
send the kid, go get the duck.
Yeah.
There's a joke I can tell you, but it takes way too long about keeping the duck, but I won't tell you.
Okay.
We'll keep people in suspense. All right, in venison, how often do you go out to venison? Because I love venison.
So I haven't. The duck hunting has ruined my deer hunting because they hit the same seasons. So I haven't gotten out with a firearm or an archery and a bow in probably 5 years. Myself, I've encouraged others, help track, clean, prepare. I've always got venison in the freezer from one of the kids or somebody else that's doing it. And again, that again is not everybody's a venison fan, but it's in how you prepare it and clean it.
looks like- that's where you go.
Field dressing it.
Let's forget how to cut it up and how to gut it and do all that. Forget the butchery stuff. Tell me your favorite way to cook venison.
I do a lot of burger actually because it's useful in everything. And then the prime steaks, you're taking the back straps out and just making thin steaks, fry them up with a little salt and butter and some seasoning. And I mean, even the next day, you can make sandwiches out of it.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, venison sausage is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
The sausage that they make from the venison.
Doing the big sausage links. And
Yeah,
you can load them up.
yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Just throw it in a like an Italian roll, some crusty bread or something like that, and then with some mayonnaise in there, it's great. Also, like you said, the Hamburg mixed in with a little fat, and throw that in some chili, or cube it up and throw it in some chili. That's fantastic. Because I got a bunch of hunter friends that give me some meat here and there and stuff, but yeah, fantastic. I've been hearing a lot about duck fat.
Okay.
Like duck fat added to like different recipes is supposed to be out of this world, Paul.
Wasn't duck fat one of the villains from Hawaii Five-0, the original series?
Only you
that
would
his
know
name?
this.
There's some useless facts, Jeopardy.
Oh,
If he's
okay.
right.
I'm pretty sure there was something with duck fat, something like that, but that's okay. I've never, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I've never heard of duck fat. My kid Christopher, when he goes to a Chinese restaurant, he always gets the duck or Thai or whatever. But
So I know a couple of chefs, and they talk about duck fat like it's like gold. It's like anything cooked with duck fat, it's used as like a topping. So it's something that I'm like, I've never tried it, and I got to try it now. 'Cause-
Well, I got to be honest with you, it sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested now.
right.
Now we got to look it up.
Now I have to cook. Now I have to cook with it and see what happens.
Now, do you dress the ducks? Do you have to take the feathers off and everything?
Yeah, I've normally just, I call it jerking them out of their shirt. You just, instead of plucking them whole, it takes a lot of work. They make machines that can do them. You just rip the, just simple field dress. And
So a neighbor of mine built something, and he put it on the end of a DeWalt drill,
Yeah.
and it was basically a bunch of rubber knobs on a wheel, and it helped in pulling all the feathers off the duck. When he used it for the first time, he was covered from head to toe with feathers, and it was just hilarious.
It's a mess.
And his wife was out there laughing at him. But yeah, it was quite the mess.
And not worth it.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome to the Metis Tech Show 2025 DSG Conference.
Yet again, this is probably our 15th episode. I don't know. I don't know how many we have. I
Yeah,
lost
you're
track.
going to hear a lot of them this
But
week.
I'm sorry for the folks because we release these once a week, and you're going to hear it week after week. It could be Thanksgiving by now.
Well, we've done this before, so they're used to it.
Yeah,
not
that's true.
last year because it was virtual last year,
well,
but
no one
the year
complained.
before.
No one complained the year before
it's,
that.
It's great information from everybody. We had Buddha on this week.
Yeah.
We had was it Rick?
Rick from Gensco,
Yeah,
Rick
he
Cummins
was
from
on.
Gensco was on.
And, yeah.
We had Dwayne and Chris Terranova on. We've had our own guys on. Bryn
Yep.
was doing a show. We've
Yeah.
had I think some good episodes, and hopefully folks are learning things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Brent, you're Brent Cox, and
Brent
tell
Cox
us.
from Young Supply
Yeah, I'm
Company.
sorry, Young Supply. So tell us what you do for Young Supply. You're obviously at DSG. Tell us, how long you've been there. A little bit of background.
So first of all, thanks for having me on the show. It's an honor. Listen to you guys all the time. I got involved in the trades by accident, like a lot of us did. In 1998, I hired in at Young Supply Company, and then I've lived there ever since. Currently, as a DSG member, I got involved with the Mitsubishi side in about 2006, and it was like any other job. You're never ready for it. There's no workflow process pre-planned for it. Just you're all in. I think it was 2009 is when I got involved, or 2008, the DSG program trainer for the M&P 4-hour in 2010. And then have been taking that to our local market. We have a training center. We've had a training center doing the M&P 4-hour, the 2-day. Previously doing some VRF stuff for the 3-day. Currently, we've added to it the Smart Multi, so we're offering now the 4-hour, the 2-day, pursuing the advanced M&P 2-day course, and that's in the work in process. We should have that wrapped up here, probably before this podcast hits.
Oh, nice.
So what I do for the company is just a team member of one of many, of the like the build a boat thing.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get into a storm, who's in your boat? What does your boat look like? How do you build it? You don't know. It's just building a boat's preparing, and
Right.
being a part of a team member, supporting not only our contractors but our internal support persons. Just anybody that picks up the phone looking for information is just the want, the empathy to, like, hey, here's how I can make your day better. Part of what I would call the Russian roulette phone. You got the cell phone and it rings. You don't know what's coming in on the phone. It's like, gosh, what is this call coming in as? So it can be intimidating and stressful at times.
Now, you were a DSG when I started here 13 years ago. I think you're one of the first DSGs I met, and I forget exactly the circumstances behind it. I do remember this, though, and I can't get too detailed here, but you gave me a flash drive with some YouTube videos that I used to play coming back from break.
Oh, the funny
Yeah, funny
videos.
commercials
Yeah.
from all over the world, and some of these things were on TV in the United States.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brent's the one. He gave them to me.
Sorry, HR.
Well, here's what happened. I used to show some of these when appropriate, the appropriate ones.
Yep.
And then one of my instructors was going to be nameless, he took them from me, and he was showing them in a class when we happened to have our legal team in his class just
gosh.
observing, and he decided to show a video, which, by the way, was on TV in the United States. It wasn't like it was R-rated. It really wasn't. And
All of them I got from a UA friend.
Right.
So
So,
they had
well-
hopefully passed that part.
yeah, well, anyway, the attorney called my boss's boss, who called my boss, who called me, and I called the instructor, and I said, "What are you doing playing these things?" And he's like, "You gave them to me." I said, "I did not. You took them." So I was clear of that. But anyway, we've also mentioned your name a couple of times. We bumped into each other at the ESCO show last year. And then I think the last time I brought your name up, and I'm not afraid to talk about this.
Go ahead. Because I didn't know about it until Monday. You told me.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
I
so missed.
saw your Facebook. You came up on Facebook, and your pictures of you and this woman who I'm assuming is your wife, but she is like gorgeous,
You were so on the spot. I married above my league.
way above your league. So I'm guessing that her family must owe your family a whole lot of money. is what I'm guessing, or there's something, an ancient thing here, because I'm just trying
It's
to,
my charming-
I'm just trying
it's
to
my
know.
charming
Now, what's your
personality.
wife's name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yes.
Oh, see, that's even a beautiful name. No, but I was looking like, wow. Yeah, well, there you go. No, don't want to. So she'll probably listen to this, and you said she's a horrible cook?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Sarah, he didn't say that. I'm just kidding.
Well, you had asked me to narrow down one thing she does well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, where do I pick? I mean, she does bake. She does, like, on the grills. The only thing she doesn't do is use a smoker.
Oh, well, you can't. No, you don't want to.
I'm sure if she put her mind to it, she'd
Oh, yeah.
blow me away with
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
You let her use
I'm going
the
to move
grill?
this microphone a little closer to you.
Got it.
And you let her use the grill?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
She's better at it than I am.
Oh,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. It's good because my wife won't touch the grill. I don't want to touch it. I know.
I just got to make sure the tank is full. That's my job. You know, and if I cook, the kids are scared because I tend to undercook stuff, and they'll tell you, don't eat dad's cooking. Nobody wants dad's cooking.
Undercooked chicken is not that
I
bad.
tend to overcook everything. Yeah.
Well, I do now because that's the only. That's like, well, just let it go until it's black.
So anyway, we've mentioned you a few times. So
thank you.
Well, yeah. So I'm still. Still a mystery. I wound up with such a beautiful wife, but we'll just table that, and we won't worry about that for right now.
Good.
So you're a DSG, and you're here, and this is not your first DSG
No,
conference.
I was thinking how many of these lanyards I have hooked on my little home office. I've got a picture of a big VRF job, and on the left side is lanyards from all the years of different manufacturers. And yeah, there's a few. And there's a couple of years that I was unable to attend, but it's the fun thing with like the Mitsubishi folks is Rob, you know, you got Bubba Sparks, one of the first people that I met at the original DSG, who was trying to teach me stuff back then that was way over my skill set. It was like, sorry, Bubba, but I probably had glazed over if you're listening to this, back when you were teaching me some of that stuff. And you had a lot of the same faces, same people, a longevity of what I found as the helpers. Like my phone and friends stayed the same people.
Yeah. And Bubba, I was fortunate enough to join the company when Bubba was still teaching. And I took his City Multi class, and boy, there's some stuff he said I still used when I was teaching. It was great. It was
The old
great to have.
G-Gen, TGMUs.
All right, so what's a day in the life of a DSG with Young Supply look like?
So the day in the life could involve a planned startup. It could involve an unplanned fire that needs to be put out. If it's like any other wholesale distribution, you try to put some workflow plans and procedures in place, but it's, you know, that first call sometimes is going to take precedence depending on who it is. But, you know, it could be the phone call ringing. So like my daily life could be the phone ring. It could be a guy out in the field. I'll tell you a story about, you know, a call where I call it getting hit with both barrels. You know, I get a phone call from a contractor to support, and it was on a multi-zone system, and we determined that it's going to require a site visit. So this was on a Friday. Site visit was on like a Monday or Tuesday, and I get there, and the homeowner is just loaded for bear. She's already mad, and get out of the truck, and she's like, "I want your phone number, and I want your boss's phone number, and I want your manufacturer's rep's phone number and emails." And I had my notepad open, and I'm listening. She says, "What can I help you with? And just, why am I here?" And I let her just dump her bucket. And then she hit me up for those numbers again, and I said, "No." And then I just paused. And I thought her husband was going to, he took a step back. And I said, "Ma'am, I'm here to work with the contractor and serve him." And when he called me on Friday and he was on his phone, that you were telling me he was on his phone, all that, he was talking to me. And that's why I'm here today, because of that relationship. So I'm not giving you my information. It's just, it's not going to help move the cause forward. It's just going to put noise in everybody's inboxes. So I'll let you look at my notes when we leave today, and we'll have a complete, you know, follow-up plan. So it's just, how do you handle that? You know,
Yeah.
Brent 1.0 would have turned inside out and ran back to my truck. You know, and another call, you know, come in was a new install. It was a one-man shop, one-man show, and he's doing a pretty high-end house. And it come along to the final stage of startup, and he had a P4 error code, and it was on a PEAD, like a ducted fan coil. And lo and behold, this thing had been built into like this closet.
Of course.
And it was a major structural challenge to flip it because he had it flipped the wrong way. Of course. And when I described that to him, I heard this loud, and because he was already mad, I heard this loud, what sounded like a shotgun, and then shuffling. and then nothing for like the world's longest 30 seconds. I'm like, I don't even know where to dispatch somebody to tell him, this guy, I think he just shot himself. Like, what the heck? And then I finally hear some shuffling come around, the phone picks back up, and there's some expletives, and I just says, sir, are you okay? And he's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, you just freaked me out. What was the loud bang? It was a bookshelf. He flipped the bookshelf over and then threw his phone, and I was like, holy smokes. But that stress could have been prevented, We all know how that could have been, prevented. Getting the right information at the right time, throughout the chain. So the daily workflow process is, I could be driving down the road and the phone rings. How do we take notes then, for a follow-up? So using AI, 2025 seems to be the year AI is getting injected into everything, whether we want it or not, it's here. From a work standpoint, we've got Microsoft 365, which has got Copilot, and it's not autopilot, it's Copilot.
Right.
And if I'm driving down the road in the pickup truck, I really don't have a good means to capture that conversation. So I've began to explore recording with the guy's permission. Like, for example, last night when we were walking through here, I was returning the phone call, and I said to the guy, I said, in lieu of taking notes, can I get your permission to record this phone call? And in return, I'll send you a summary email of our action plans. He said, absolutely. I've done this a couple of times. And I'll record the call, run the transcript through, I call it the machine, and ask it to just summarize this call and create an action plan and a summary email. So then it's in writing. It pulls out the model numbers and serial numbers. It'll pull out the contact information that the person, he give me your email address. It pulls all that information up. It gives me more than a blank template, using the AI side of things. So I think of it like some guys will go, the AI, that's just too scary for me. And it reminds me of Brent 1.0 and the guys going, standing pilot, man, why are they going to this hot surface ignition? Standing pilot. And it's like technology change, you get the same pushback, but it's different technology.
Yeah, AI is it is amazing. I just helped my wife with a cover letter and a resume for a job she's applying for. And basically I fed it her resume. And I fed it the job description she was looking for, the job she's applying for, and it took the two, and it created the most professional, and like any employee will look at this cover letter and say, this is the employee, that this is the next person that I want to hire. It was incredible. And my wife was like, how did you do that? I says, I didn't do it. AI did it. Copilot did it. It was just amazing.
Right.
See, all this Copilot thing, everything that's not Copilot, but all this AI stuff that people are coming up with, these are people who've never seen a Terminator movie. It's really scary.
Skynet.
Sometimes what they're doing. No, but you read these things, you hear these stories about these AI programs that people are trying to shut down, and they're defending them. They're trying to protect themselves. And you hear about these robots that created their own language, and they try to shut them down. I'm sorry, I'm just glad my name's not Sarah Connor.
Yeah, hopefully it goes in a good direction. I think it will.
Anything can be used for evil. I mean,
yes.
My wife said, well, AI can be used for bad. And I'm like, well, so can an automobile. I mean, you could take an automobile and rob a bank with it. It becomes a getaway car, but that wasn't the original intent. And we were going to take away automobiles? Probably not.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Everything can be used. Anything. It's how you use it. Use it responsibly in the way it's intended, and you're okay.
And someone mentioned AI taking our jobs someday, but I thought about HVAC.
No.
I don't think AI could mess with HVAC too much.
It's going to complement.
I think it'll help it. Yeah,
It'll
it's going
help.
to complement.
It's going to help templatize things that
we already have AI that we can use through our CRMs where we can ask questions. We saw that this week.
You just added it to you guys.
Right. And that's going to go out to the distributors and eventually the contractors. But basically, we've uploaded every single manual we have into this. I don't even know what the correct term is, but let's call it a database.
Yep.
And then you ask AI, tell me what the dip switch setting is on this model for this function. And it looks through and searches all that. And we've been testing it internally. And I'm going to say from my personal experience, I don't know, Steve, if you had a chance to test it, but if I've done it 5 times, I think 3 times it gave me the spot on answer.
Yeah.
And that's just me with my little, testing it here and there.
It's prompt based.
Yeah.
So if you put
Bingo.
garbage in, you're going to get garbage out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you have to know how to ask the question.
So one of the things that I learned is I will ask it a question before I ask the what other questions you need to know before we can proceed? And it opens up a whole nother avenue of, I didn't think of that.
Right.
And you can narrow it down to like, for example, using it for A2L, which is a wild topic right now, but the local market and jurisdictions, and you can run that through the machine and say, what is the local jurisdiction for this code? And it can go do a quick fact search check, but it's 80-20. It's 80% of the time it's going to find the right information, and 20% of the time it ad libs, and you got to watch out for it and correct it.
I think it's just amazing. Of course, we use it to goof off. Like we'll take pictures of somebody and say, hey, what would these people look like if they were Simpsons characters? So we know that.
Yeah.
But,
we designed our Metis Tech Show logo with
the cartoons of all of us. Bryn did that with AI. So that's not so bad. So Brent, let's go back, and I want to get some DSG stuff in here. I want to see if we can help all the contractors who are out there and listening to us. So if a contractor is going to call you to help him on an issue he has on a job site, what information do you want him to have before he calls you?
A basic understanding of why he's there and what he's working on would be a starter. I did have somebody call me early in the morning that they were expecting, so the call came in and I hadn't left the house yet, and so my beautiful wife was within earshot as I answered the phone. Well, this is Brent from Young Supply Company, how can I help you? And he had asked me, is this Mitsubishi? And I'm like, no, he didn't. He says, is this tech support? And so, this is Brent from Young Supply Company. How can I help you? Well, I'm looking for tech support. Okay, well, this is tech support. What are you working on? And he didn't know the brand. He didn't know the model. And I said, why did you call me then? And of course, my wife looks at me like, you can't say that. And I said, I don't mean that in offense, but you're not at the job, are you? And he goes, no. And he goes, and you're expecting to be on hold for 40 minutes waiting for somebody to pick up the phone, hoping that your timing was right. And he goes, yeah, absolutely. I said, I'm a live person. This is a cell phone that's in my pocket. And I said, when you get there, text me a picture of the model serial number tag as proof that you're there, and then let's talk. And it worked, he did, but he didn't know, Young Supply and the process, and he was new to the Mitsubishi. The support network that you guys do for us is greater than any other manufacturer out there that I've run into.
I think so. Yeah, I think
that's good to hear.
It's when we get a call at customer care, the 800 number, we record every call that comes in. It's stated this call's recorded, and I've heard some of these calls, and I'm sure we had one DSG conference one year where we played some of them. I don't know if you were there for that one, if you took that class, but I do remember one call that one of the advisors was telling me about. The guy called in, and he was there, and he was waiting for like an hour or two for a call back, and they called him back, and they said, what have you done so far? He goes, nothing. I've been waiting for you to call me back. Didn't try to diagnose it, didn't take any tools out. So if you're a technician, be a technician.
Yeah.
Don't be a parts changer. Do something. Get out there and try to diagnose it yourself. And as we've said 1,000 times, electricity is electricity, refrigerant's refrigerant. There's only one thing that we do differently than everybody else. Everybody uses refrigerant the same way. Everybody uses electricity the same way. We don't change the laws of thermodynamics. The only thing that we can do that nobody else does is the air coming out of our equipment is fluffier. And that's it. That's it. I've said that before. That's a secret.
So if somebody goes to the doctor, you go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, I got this chest cough. I don't feel so good. The doc doesn't come at you with a needle and say, let me take some blood. Yet, as technicians, some of the things that we do is, I got to be busy doing something. I need to tech. They want to gauge up.
Yeah, no.
They don't know what they're doing. So, guys, don't gauge up first. Know your electricity, your basic electricity, your S1, 2, and 3s for the M&P stuff, your MNet for the city multi, your MXZ SM. Don't be afraid of it. There's 3 basic processes that happen. It's a motor and a driver. It's not that difficult.
Using that same analogy for the guy you were just talking about, he's like going to the doctor and saying, doctor said, what's wrong? He says, I don't know yet. I'm just waiting. We're hoping you can tell me.
Yeah.
What hurts? I don't know. Tell me.
If I wait here long enough, I'll get sick.
That's funny.
All right, Brent. So what's the service call that stands out?
I guess a repeat service call, a preventable repeat service call that I see in the mini split market, not just by brand, is the relationship between like an indoor fan coil motor and board and the Hall's effect, the rotational frequency feedback signal, and how they spark each other out sometimes. And a lot of times, well, change the motor, change the board, change the motor, change the board. But I had another a tech who was frustrated because he had changed a part, and then it didn't work, and then he changed another part, and it didn't work. And then I got the invite to come visit, and we brought both parts, changed them at the same exact time, put the power to it, and it worked. And then he was like, why did it work for you? You know, I didn't fully understand how to tell him, you know, about the rotational frequencies, the pinouts, and
Yeah.
you know the feedback and how it can take out a diode. But it was testable. You know, had he teched with the tools that were available, you know, through the MyLink drive or the Mitsubishi Pro, you know, it's all out there. It's not behind a wall. There's no username or password. You know, it's if you got internet and a cell service and a phone in your pocket. I mean, you're way ahead of the guys that are retiring out of this trade right now. So that learning game should be a lot.
So he needed to change the board and the motor?
Well, the motor was the bad part.
Okay.
So when you put the board in with the bad motor, because you diagnosed the board as being
He kept
bad,
taking out that diode.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
And this is why, you know, I get this in class when I'm teaching rotational feedback and showing them what voltages they should be getting on the pins, you know, between pins 1 and 3 at 300 volts, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6, whatever it is, however the pin configuration is. And they say, listen, every time I call tech support, they say change both the parts. And I'm like, listen, we don't want to become parts changers.
Right.
Why is this happening? Because yes, two parts can go bad at the same time. But that's a great example right there where that motor is defective. And it's just taking out that diode on that board every time he goes to change those parts. So he wasn't changing the motor, he was changing the board.
Right.
So yeah, you got to get your meter out. You got to understand what those pins are telling you. And this is why you got to come to training.
Yep.
Right. Read the manuals.
Don't touch the pink connector while it's hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't unplug anything.
Don't unplug it.
while it's hot.
You know, and the one thing I've always said is so it wasn't uncommon for me on a unitary or rooftop unit to go measure the voltage at the compressor terminals. You know, common start and run. Sometimes I'm reading it right at the terminals, and I tell that the guys in class, don't ever do this on an inverter compressor. Mm-hmm. And guys still do it. And that thing arcs, and it's a loud flash, it's a loud bang, and so don't do it. You got to know what you're working on. We've gotten a lot of calls, you know, what do you got for this? I don't know, I don't have a meter.
Oh,
A lot of contractors don't have, you ever get that? They don't have a meter?
I hope. No, I can't say that I did. Like, maybe not the right leads, but I've never had somebody show up without a meter and then wanted to,
We've had people call the 800 number, don't have a meter.
Yeah, well, they can keep calling the 800 number, not me.
And S1, S2, S3 is another one that drives me crazy. And I hear a lot of stories from our area service managers, from our local DSGs, that, you know, certain contractors are not looking at the voltages. They're not looking at the wiring. What did the electrician do? Did he use a junction box somewhere that you're unaware of? And it's so worth just carrying a roll of wire in your truck, so that way you could bypass whatever wiring was done and just disconnect it from the indoor, the outdoor, run this roll of wire and see if it runs that way before you go and change every damn board in the system.
Yeah.
It just drives me
Be a
nuts.
technician, don't be a parts changer.
Exactly.
So when the phone rings, if they're on a job, depending on if they're inside or outside, I'll start them on S1, 2, and 3. If they happen to be at the indoor unit, do I need to be outside? I'm like, no, that's fine. You're inside. It's like, I'll tell them, we're going to read the magazine from the back of the cover to the front. So if you start on S1 and S2 and you got your 208, 230 voltage, and 2 and 3 you got your DC voltage dance, then you know that outdoor unit's already spooled up, done its safety check, pinged the indoor unit, the indoor's pinging back to the outdoor unit. That 208 volts, if it's an S1 and S2 on the indoor unit, if you're 212.3, you go all the way to the front of the magazine at the disconnect, and you're going to be somewhere near about the same voltage. So I mean, you can get the right, basic voltage checks start at S1, 2, and 3 for me on most jobs.
Yes, sir. That's a beginning. It's the first thing you got to check.
It's a workflow process.
You know, it's one of the vital signs I think we talked about in past episodes.
Yeah, you
that vital signs,
Right, and something as simple as wire size is another thing we preach, and a lot of contractors are like, "What does it matter? 12 gauge, 14 gauge? It doesn't matter." Yes, it does. It does matter, and it's gotten me and tricked me before when I didn't work for Mitsubishi.
And here's the difference with the wire gauge and why it makes a difference, because, and this is the same thing for wire nuts and connections and everything. We're not so much interested in the voltage, although we are, but it's not about the voltage and the current anymore. It's about the data, the ones and zeros.
Right.
And that's what can get affected with the wrong wire size, is the communication.
Yeah.
So that's why the wire size is actually more. You don't go the old-fashioned way where it's so many amps and this gauge wire for so many amps.
Exactly.
You don't do that anymore.
And, we have this stigma, and it's just like, it's infused in our brain. We show up on a job and we see 208, we automatically think 12 gauge. We automatically think 10 gauge. Well, the voltage is high, we got a thicker wire. It's not how it's done. It's not how it's done in Europe. It's not how it's done in Japan, right? It's low amperage. So 16 gauge wire is not unheard of on 208.
I get the information from the book. That's the one that's going to back me up.
Yes, exactly.
Right from the factory.
Yep.
Brent, one last thing. So our target audience is the guy that's in the truck right now. He's either between service calls or he's an installer, going to install this, going to install that. But I like to kind of ask this a lot of the DSGs is what advice would you give the tech that's in the truck or on the job site right now that's going to help them out? What one piece of advice would you? I mean, feel free to say 2 or 3, but
Get out of the left lane.
how are you going to get to a service call without being in the left lane? You got to hit the gun.
It's all right if you're passing people, but all right. Use your time accordingly. Like, rather than sit in your truck and listen to the ladder rack hum, find podcasts and educate yourself. There's so many avenues to, I won't find myself sitting down reading a book, but, I might listen to it. If you want to know something about something, search it. There's going to be a podcast. There's going to be a YouTube. The technology is there. I mean, AI running through the machine.
Yeah.
Just always be striving to learn something new and find out how to help somebody else out.
That's great advice.
Yeah, that is good advice. That's excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me
Thanks,
on.
Brent, for
What a
being
blessing.
on. This is awesome.
Love you guys. You're awesome.
So how long you been married?
Oh, this time?
Oh, this time. Oh, okay. Wait,
No.
is it the same woman or the different woman?
No, this 20 Sarah and I have been together 10, 11 years now.
Oh, I thought he was going to say 20 women. I was like, holy smokes. Busy.
No, she's awesome. No, we blended a family. I had my 2 and her 3, and we were close to the Brady Bunch family, but we considered the dog Alice. So.
Oh, no, yeah, we like her. I like dogs. I like them better than people. But
Yeah.
No, because I thought your wife, she looked awful young. I thought she was like 28, 27.
Yeah,
years old.
absolutely.
So, yeah,
Yep.
so that's why.
So she just had a birthday.
Really?
Actually, on Monday while we were here. I had
Yeah, don't say how old she is. You'll get killed.
She probably wouldn't care.
Nah, I
but
wouldn't
I
take a
won't.
chance.
I'll get
Don't
the
take
year
a
wrong
chance.
anyways. I always make her younger on accident.
Yeah, don't take a chance. You don't want to do that. All right, Brent, thanks.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for
very
coming
much.
on. It was a
We'll
pleasure
see you on the
having
next one.
We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.
Thanks much.
Take care.